Hi everyone, I'm going to do a reading from Love Never Dies, which is novel number 3 in the Porn Star Brothers series, out now under my adult author name of LJ Diva. This is going to be a bit of a sad section, a sad read. For those who don't know, this was set in the very early 80s and revolves around the HIV/AIDS epidemic. So, as novel number 3, if you've read the previous novels of Forever or the Porn Star Brothers omnibus or novellas, you will know this one you're gonna need the tissues for. But I thought I'd show you just how sad it can be. Actually, gets worse. I've picked a lightweight chapter. Okay, the chapter is January 1981. In the morning edition of the New York local paper, Pedro found Stan Kosnov's obituary. It was the 5th day of January, 5 days since Pedro had seen Stan at 69 for New Year's Eve, 5 days since he had heard anything. Stan was 44 years old, a banker by day, and there was a notice from his firm thanking him for all the years he'd worked. Friends and family gave their prayers. There would be no funeral or service. Stan had been cremated. There was a loving tribute from his partner Gary and a picture of Stan in one of his suits. That night when Pedro went to work, he showed Mike and his other colleagues the paper. You guys remember Stan? He's gone, just like that. Yeah, he was here for New Year's, wasn't he? Mike was wiping out glasses, ready for the night. He loved you. Used to hang out at the front of stage just to watch you play. A sad sigh escaped from Pedro. Yeah, a lot of people did, but now they're gone. Where are they all going? Are they hitting up another club or dying off like my brother's friends in Miami? How many are gone now? Mike asked, aligning the glasses on the back counter. As many as here? 46 in 3 years alone, Pedro replied, staring at the paper. And look at how many more men are dead. There are more men than women in here, almost 4 times as many. That's rough, man, Mike said, watching Eddie walk up to the bar. See the obit for Stan? Yeah, poor bastard. Took his life by going out the only way he wanted, with an overdose. It was his way or the highway. Wait, what? How do you know that? Pedro's head swung in Eddie's direction. How do you know that? It says nothing about drugs, just that he had cancer and pneumonia. Ah, well, Eddie blushed. He may have wanted to go out his own way here at 69, and I may have helped him out a little. How did you help him out, Eddie? Pedro straightened. Did you give him drugs? Did you kill him? I didn't. Eddie put his hands up in defense. Stan came to me with a proposition. He knew he was sick and dying and wanted to know if he could spend his last night here seeing in the new year. When I questioned him, he asked if he could overdose. He'd bring his own drugs, but he wanted to spend his last night partying and high and end it all in a place he loved most. So I let him down into the party room about 6 a.m. because the party was still going on down there and he OD'd on his own drugs. Then that partner of his carried him out to their car and took him home, where he reported the death. That was in the paper a few days back. Sick man takes own life. They left his name out of it. Pedro stared, dumbfounded at what he was hearing. You what? Eddie was shamefaced. I was just doing Irregular a favour. He was sick and dying, Pedro. He wanted his last night on earth to be at a place he loved, surrounded by people he knew. I just helped him achieve that. Jesus fucking Christ, Eddie, Pedro spat. It's bad enough what already goes on here, the sex, the party room, but helping someone kill himself? He was already dying, Eddie argued. And so did Leon and Devron and God knows how many other 69 partygoers who all had sex with each other and are now all dead or dying. This has become a cesspool of debauchery, Eddie. Jesus, have you been fucking them too? Are you going to die next? Pedro was incredulous at all going on around him. Some of the staff crowded around to hear the argument. No one went up against Eddie Monteith, especially if you valued your job. Now, hang on a minute, Stephanopoulos. Eddie put a hand out to stop him. You've been here since 77, and I've been quite generous in letting you have time off over the years, but what I do to help my patrons is nobody's business but mine. Well, maybe I don't want to be a part of it anymore, Pedro yelled. All this death and dying. How many more are we going to lose? How many more will get sick because of the sex and drugs you allow here down in that party room of yours? The filth, the germs, the disease that's spreading. Have you got it, Eddie? Are you going to get sick and die next? Are you a part of it? Because I don't want to be. My brother's friends are dropping like flies. Friends of Carlos and Viv. People my family knew. Leon, Stan. Jesus, how many more people have to die because none of you can keep your fucking dicks in your pants? It's either up each other's asses or down each other's throats. It's disgusting, and I don't know how much longer I can tolerate it. If you don't clean up, Eddie, I'm done. He stormed out of the room, down the hall, and smashed through the back door into the alley, where his tears fell for Stan, for Leon, Jamal, Cabot, and all of Thomas and Roger's friends. And then fell out of fear of losing his brother and brother-in-law. What are you looking at? Eddie barked at the staff watching on. Get back to work. He took the same path as Pedro and found him sobbing against the trunk of his car in the alley. You think it doesn't scare me too? I've got regulars dropping like flies, new clubs competing for the celebrities, people always asking me to get them any kind of drug they want. How could I say no to Stan? He was already dying. He wanted to go out his way while he still could, while he was still in control, while he could still make his own choices and tell people what he wanted to be done after his death. He stood with his hands in his jacket pockets, rocking from one foot to the other. Pedro wiped his face and looked up. Doesn't make it right, though. Yeah, Eddie shifted his foot. I know, neither does death. Don't you want to go out on your own terms instead of letting some non-existent thing called God decide for you? God gave Stan cancer and other diseases, just like God is killing off all our regulars and your family's friends. God doesn't care, so why shouldn't you do it your way? Stan made everything official right down to the letter. He did it his way and didn't leave it up to anything or anyone else. And as for you leaving, what is it you want? More money? I already pay you $2,000 a night. Pedro shook his head sadly. I don't know what I want, Eddie, not when it comes to my life. What I do want is for my brother and brother-in-law to be safe and for friends to stop dying. How many more? How many more have to die? How many more do we have to lose? I don't even know if what, Eddie asked, concerned for his star DJ's welfare. If he lost Pedro, he'd lose the club. I don't even know how long I can go on in this job, at this club. I love music, but I just can't. Pedro sighed and his body sagged against the car. I don't know how long I can keep doing this. Maybe once Angie finishes school we can... A shrug. I don't know. Travel more, see the world again, visit Mykonos again. He finally looked at Eddie. I'm grateful for the opportunity you've given me, but I just don't know how much longer I can do it. Not with friends and co-workers dying off. And how long is disco going to last before the next wave of whatever comes along? How long is the club going to last? We've already been shut down 3 times, Eddie. You've gone to jail for tax evasion. How much longer can we last? Dunno, Pedro, my boy, but I'm not giving up. So look, we're going to work hard for however long we need to, and keep making it a success until we can't do it no more. You got that? Eddie pointed his finger in emphasis. Pedro shook his head. Sorry, Eddie, you have me until Angie graduates, and then I'll decide if I'm staying, because I don't know if I can or not. Eddie sighed and brushed a hand through his thinning hair. Well, at least you've given me advance warning. And that's all I can give you, Eddie, because... Pause. I don't even know what's going to happen after that. Life is too short and I have a wife and daughter to worry about. My family, my brother. Have they been doing okay? Eddie asked. They didn't really look happy the other night. They're scared like the rest of us. Their friends are dead and they're worried they'll get it. It's damn frightening. Yeah, I know what you mean. Eddie took a breath. Listen, kid, what's happening sucks, especially with it hitting so close to home. But I need you here, and now you've told me all about this, I'll keep it in mind. But since you're here, you can get dressed and get on stage. We're still relying on you, kid. You're the life of the ball. You're what draws in the crowd, for what crowd there is left. So get in your gold shorts and get ready to wow the people that do come in. With a sad smile and a deep sigh, Pedro went to change. It's a heavy topic, this book. As I said, it's about the HIV/AIDS era of the very early 80s. A lot of people die in this book. It's sad. It sucks. Have the tissues ready. Love Never Dies. Novel number 4 in my Porn Star Brothers series. Out now in paperback, dust jacket hardcover, an ebook at all good online bookstores.